My first skirt was a trap. I always thought secrets were meant to protect you.
Keep things simple.
Hide what doesn't need to be seen. But nothing about my secret was simple. By day, I was just a regular guy, Daniel Reed, 24 years old, data entry specialist at a small insurance firm. I lived in a quiet apartment on the second floor of a brick building with peeling paint and creaky hallways. The kind of place that never quite felt like home but was cheap enough to make excuses for. My girlfriend, Leah, moved in with me 6 months ago. She was the bright spot in my otherwise dull routine. Smart, funny, and alarmingly observant. She worked part-time at a local coffee shop while studying to become a therapist. Her ability to see through people was part of what made me fall for her. Ironically, it's also what terrified me. Because if she ever truly saw me, if she ever found out what I'd been hiding, I wasn't sure she'd still love me. Leah thought I was shy, reserved, a little awkward, maybe. She didn't know the real reason I hesitated when she asked if I wanted to try new things in bed, or why I avoided shopping trips that involved women's fashion. She didn't know about the box I kept on the top shelf of our bedroom closet, behind an old laptop bag, tucked away like some shameful relic. That box contained my other self. It started small, just curiosity at first. A silky scarf stolen from my cousin's closet when I was 13. Then years of shameful internet searches and guilt-laced nights. Eventually, a growing collection of women's clothes, all bought in secret, a pair of black pantyhose, a padded bra, a lacy top I didn't even know how to wear correctly. And most recently, a skirt. A pale pink skater skirt.
Soft.
Feminine. Dangerous. I'd never worn it before.
Not yet.
Leah had gone to her mom's place for the weekend. Some family emergency involving a sick cat and a nosy aunt. I had the apartment to myself for 3 whole days. It should have felt like a break. Like I could finally unwind, play video games, eat junk, and sleep in. But all I could think about was that skirt. Friday night passed in a blur of indecision. I stared at the closet like it was whispering to me. The box seemed louder than usual, pulling at my curiosity, my hunger. By Saturday morning, the temptation became unbearable. I stood in the middle of the apartment, heart pounding, blinds drawn tight. I retrieved the box from the closet like I was defusing a bomb. Each item inside felt heavier than it should have.
Bra.
Panties. The soft mesh of the skirt. A simple white crop top. I held it all in my hands, breath trembling. I told myself this would be quick. Just a look. Just a feel. Just once. My hands shook as I peeled off my usual clothes. The moment the panties slid up my thighs, I felt that familiar electric thrill. The bra followed, padding giving me just enough shape to feel almost convincing. My heart raced as I reached for the skirt, lifting it gently, like it might shatter. Slipping into it was surreal. It hugged my waist perfectly, the hem tickling just above my knees. I turned to the mirror and saw someone else standing there. Not quite a woman, not quite a man, just me. But more. Or maybe less. I wasn't sure. I was still figuring that part out. The crop top clung tighter than I remembered, showing off more midriff than I was comfortable with. I didn't have a wig, only my messy brown hair, slightly too long and unkempt, but in that moment, I didn't care. I wasn't trying to pass. I just wanted to feel. I added mascara and tinted lip balm. Nothing too bold. Just enough to flirt with the illusion. And when I finally stepped into the small black flats I'd hidden under the bed, I felt right. There was no one to see me. No audience. No performance. Just me. And that's when I realized something dangerous. This wasn't just dress up. It wasn't just a game. It was a part of me, one I had buried so deep, I'd forgotten how much it mattered. But even as I stood there, basking in this moment of fragile joy, a voice in my head whispered, "What if Leah came home early?" I looked at the clock. 2:13 p.m. She wasn't due back until Sunday night. But what if something changed?
What if she forgot something?
What if her mom got better, or the cat miraculously healed, or she just missed me and decided to surprise me? Suddenly, every sound outside made my blood run cold. A door slammed down the hall. Footsteps on the stairs. My stomach twisted. Why was I doing this? What if she walked in right now and saw me like this? Makeup smeared, skirt too short, mascara trembling with fear. I froze, staring at myself in the mirror, heart hammering. It felt like I was balanced on the edge of a knife. I wanted to undress. I wanted to stay like this forever. I wanted to cry. I wanted to laugh. I didn't know what I wanted. But I knew this. This was no longer just about a skirt. The air in the apartment felt heavier with every minute I spent in that skirt. I paced back and forth, my bare legs brushing against the hem with each step. The movement, the swish, the weightless flutter, it was intoxicating. With every motion, I felt a little more removed from the version of myself that Leah knew, and a little closer to the person I was always afraid to become. But the fear never left. It clung to the corners of the room like a shadow, waiting to pounce. I couldn't help it. I kept going back to the mirror. Each time, I expected to be disappointed. To see a man playing dress-up, to feel the sharp sting of embarrassment. But each time, the reflection stared back like someone familiar and free. I tilted my head, playing with my hair. I pursed my lips, reapplied some gloss, and smiled nervously at the girl in the mirror. Was she me? A version of me? Someone buried beneath layers of performance and expectation? I didn't know, but I wanted to know her better. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera. At first, I only meant to check my look from another angle, but my thumb hovered too long over the shutter button. A soft click, then another, and another. I was taking pictures, posing, smiling, laughing, silently, nervously. I should have deleted them right away. I should have felt shame. Instead, I created a hidden folder and labeled it something boring like tax files. Inside, I saved every shot, even the ones where I looked scared, especially those. It hit me suddenly like a wave. Why this felt so intense. Why it mattered so much. I was 8 the first time I ever wanted to wear a skirt. My older cousin Lily had been visiting for summer break. She was 3 years older, outgoing, always painting her nails, always brushing her hair in front of the mirror. I remember watching her with a mix of awe and envy. One afternoon, she dared me to try on one of her skirts. I laughed it off, but inside, something fluttered.
Something wanted to say yes.
But I never did. I was too scared. She left a week later, and I cried when she took her suitcase with her. Not because I missed her, but because I missed the chance to be someone else, even for a moment. That was the beginning. And now, all these years later, I was finally taking that chance. Once I crossed the line, there was no going back. By late afternoon, I was fully immersed in it. I brought out a soft cardigan Leah had left on the couch, light beige, cropped, feminine. I slid it over my shoulders and looked at myself again. The layering added dimension to my look. It almost felt coordinated. I dug through my drawer and found a pair of clip-on earrings I had stolen from a discount bin months ago and never dared wear. I clipped them on. They hurt, but I didn't care. In the bathroom, I did something bolder. I tried eyeliner. Messy at first. Uneven. But after a few YouTube tutorials and steady breaths, I managed something decent. Every new piece added to the illusion, and every layer made me more nervous. I was getting used to it. I was enjoying it. I was becoming her. But at what cost? The apartment was silent. Every tick of the clock felt like a countdown. Every passing car outside felt like the moment Leah would walk in and find me like this. And then I heard it.
A key.
In the door.
No, 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 no.
My blood turned to ice. My feet wouldn't move. I heard the knob twist slightly, jiggle once, then stop.
Click.
Silence. Then footsteps walking away. It wasn't Leah, just the neighbor checking their lock. But I collapsed on the couch, shaking. That was too close. And yet, part of me didn't rush to change back. I didn't rip off the skirt. I didn't wipe away the eyeliner or smear the gloss off my lips. I just sat there, heart pounding, and smiling. Because even in that panic, even in that terror, I felt alive. My phone buzzed, and I nearly dropped it.
Leah.
I stared at the screen like it was a live grenade. I could ignore it, but that would be suspicious. I swiped to answer, voice cracking slightly. Hey, babe. She sounded cheerful. Tired but happy. Hey, just checking in. How's your day? How do you answer that when you're sitting in a skirt and bra, your cheeks dusted in blush? Oh, quiet. Just relaxing. That's good. I miss you. I miss you too. A beat of silence. Then she said, I was looking through my drawer, and I think I left my beige cardigan on the couch. You haven't seen it, have you? I froze. My eyes darted to the very cardigan draped over my shoulders.
Lie. Lie. Lie.
I don't think so. I can check later. She chuckled. It's okay. I'll grab it tomorrow. Tomorrow. The word echoed in my chest like a gong. By nightfall, I'd gone further than ever before. I had lit a vanilla candle in the bedroom, played soft music, and tried on every piece of clothing in my secret stash. I danced a little. I sang quietly. I let myself exist without judgment. For once, I wasn't Daniel hiding a secret. I was the version of me that had always been locked away. I collapsed on the bed, smiling softly. And then, I sat up, breath catching in my throat. 3 sharp knocks at the door. Who would come this late? Another knock. More urgent. Daniel? Are you home? It's me, Ava. From next door. My neighbor.
Why?
What if she saw me? What if she needed help? What if something had happened? Another knock. Sorry, my phone died. Can I borrow yours for a sec? I just need to call my brother. I scrambled off the bed, nearly tripping over my skirt. I couldn't be seen like this. Not by anyone. I grabbed a hoodie, threw it over my top, yanked off the earrings. But the skirt was too snug, the makeup too fresh. I was out of time. Daniel? Ava's voice was firmer now, her tone edged with impatience. Hello? Are you okay? My mouth opened, but no words came out. I stood in the middle of the room, paralyzed in a panic cocktail of lipstick and lace. The skirt swirled around my legs, clinging to me like the truth I couldn't outrun. I had seconds. Maybe less. I shoved a pair of sweatpants over the skirt, but the waistband bulged, the fabric bunched. It looked ridiculous. I yanked the hoodie down to cover as much as I could. Mascara smudged. Lip gloss smeared. Please don't look too close, I silently begged. When I opened the door just a crack, Ava's wide eyes met mine. Oh, thank God, she sighed. I thought maybe something happened. She looked exhausted, cheeks flushed, one broken sandal strap in her hand. I got locked out, and I left my phone inside, she explained. Do you mind if I use yours for a quick call? I nodded dumbly, barely able to speak.
Yeah, sure.
Come in. She stepped inside, and my world narrowed. Her eyes scanned the room, the lingering scent of perfume in the air, the dim, romantic lighting, the candle still flickering gently on the nightstand. And then the cardigan. Leah's beige cardigan draped over a kitchen chair. Cute candle, Ava said, one brow raised. Having a special night? My heart thudded. I forced a nervous laugh.
No.
Just relaxing. She gave me a curious look but didn't say more. I handed her my phone with trembling fingers. As she dialed her brother's number, I tried to calm my breath. One wrong movement, and the skirt would peek out beneath the hoodie. One wrong angle, and she'd see the edge of eyeliner I hadn't wiped clean. But her brother answered, and she turned her back to me, talking softly. I stood there, frozen, hands clenched. When she finally ended the call, she handed the phone back. Thanks. He'll be here in 10 minutes. I nodded again. She didn't leave. Instead, she leaned against the wall, studying me. You okay? She asked. What? You seem nervous. I swallowed. Just tired. Her gaze drifted downward, and for one terrible second, I thought she saw it. The skirt.
The gloss.
The truth. But she only smiled faintly. You know, Leah's lucky. You're sweet. And with that, she turned and walked out. The moment the door clicked shut, I collapsed to my knees, breath heaving. That was too close. Way too close. I didn't sleep that night. I kept playing the moment over and over again, Ava's words echoing in my mind. You're sweet. Had she known? Had she guessed? Did she think I was cheating? Or worse, did she think I was pretending to be someone I wasn't? I barely had time to process it before my phone buzzed again. Leah, hey. Heading back this morning. Should be home by noon.
Noon?
That was hours earlier than planned. I sprang into action, stripping off every piece of clothing like it was on fire. The skirt clung to my hips as I yanked it off. I scrubbed at my face until the skin was raw. I threw the clothes back into the box and shoved it deep in the closet, heart racing. But when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. The makeup was gone. The skirt was gone. But so was something else. The light. The spark. When Leah walked through the door, I forced a smile. She threw her arms around me and kissed my cheek. Missed me?
Yeah.
A lot. She pulled back and studied me. You look different. My breath caught. Do I?
Yeah.
Tired. And is that my cardigan? I turned to see the beige cardigan still hanging on the chair. I'd forgotten to hide it. I fumbled for an answer.
Oh.
Yeah, it got chilly last night. I borrowed it. She smiled, but there was something in her eyes. Something calculating. She didn't say anything else. Not yet. 2 days passed. I thought I was in the clear. But Leah had always been smart. Too smart. One evening, while we were watching a movie, she casually leaned over and said, Hey, can you grab my charger from the closet? My stomach dropped. That closet. Where the box was. I hesitated. I think it's under the couch. No, it's definitely on the closet shelf. I stood up slowly, walked to the closet. My fingers trembled on the handle. Please, God, let the box still be covered. I opened the door. The box was there. But it was no longer behind the laptop bag. It was on top of it. Exposed. Leah had already found it. When I turned around, Leah was standing in the doorway. Watching.
I didn't know what to say.
I didn't even try. She walked over, took the box off the shelf, and opened it without a word. Her eyes moved over the clothes. The skirt.
The bra.
The flats. The earrings. The lip balm. She looked at me. I want to hear the truth. I couldn't speak. Tears welled up in my eyes. She sat on the edge of the bed and patted the space beside her. I sat down, and I told her. Everything. How it started. The feelings I couldn't explain. The thrill, the shame, the fear. The skirt. The photos. The knock at the door.
Ava.
Leah didn't interrupt once. When I was done, the silence hung between us like a loaded gun. Finally, she said, So, when I asked you about the cardigan, you lied to me. I nodded. I was scared. And you took pictures? Only for myself. I swear. She stared at me, then slowly reached into the box and pulled out the skirt. You said this was the first one?
I nodded again.
She ran her fingers over the fabric. It's cute. Honestly, I think it'd look even better with those black heels I have. I blinked. Wait, what? Leah smiled. A slow, complicated smile. I'm not mad, Daniel. I just wish you trusted me sooner. My heart ached. I didn't want to lose you. Maybe, she said softly. Or maybe you didn't want to lose control. That night, she asked me to show her. To put on the outfit again. I hesitated. But the look in her eyes wasn't judgment. It was curiosity.
So I did.
The skirt.
The top.
The flats. This time, Leah did my makeup. Soft blush, neat brows, winged liner. You know, she said as she applied gloss, you have really pretty lips. I blushed. When I looked in the mirror, I saw someone real. Someone accepted.
But the moment didn't last.
The next morning, Leah was quiet. She kissed me goodbye before heading to work, but it felt different. Colder. She hadn't said much after our transformation night. She hadn't laughed or teased or reassured me. I tried to brush it off. Until I saw her phone on the counter. Open. Unlocked. A message thread with someone named Maya. He finally told me everything. It's worse than I thought. He's been dressing up behind my back. I'm not sure what to do. My stomach twisted. Another message came in right in front of my eyes. You have to do what's right for you. Don't let him manipulate you with tears. I locked the phone,
Sat down.
and stared at the skirt still hanging from the closet handle. Was I finally free? Or was this just the beginning of something worse? I stared at the screen, frozen. Leah's words to Maya echoed in my mind like gunshots in a quiet field. It's worse than I thought. He's been dressing up behind my back. I'm not sure what to do. My throat tightened. It was all there, everything I feared. The vulnerability I'd exposed. The fragile trust one thought we were rebuilding. It wasn't safe with her. I'd hoped she understood, but behind her carefully painted smile, she'd been confiding in someone else. Maybe plotting something else. Was this her trap? The sound of keys in the door snapped me out of it. Leah was home early. Again. I didn't move. I couldn't. She walked in, paused when she saw me at the counter, and slowly set her purse down. Her eyes darted to her phone, still unlocked on the marble island between us. She knew that I'd seen it. Daniel, she said calmly, her voice too even. We need to talk. I swallowed, feeling the lump in my throat grow heavier by the second. Yeah, I whispered. I saw your messages. I figured, she replied, folding her arms. That's why I came back early. Silence. The air between us was thick with everything left unsaid. I tried to explain. I wanted to tell you earlier. I was scared. Leah tilted her head. You weren't scared when you were sneaking around behind my back. That's not fair, I said. I wasn't sneaking to hurt you. I was hiding. From myself. From what you might think. She let out a small laugh. Not cruel, but cold. You know what hurts most? It's not that you crossdressed. It's that you didn't trust me enough to share the real you. And when I finally found out, I was already deep in love with someone who was clearly living two lives. I opened my mouth to defend myself, but stopped. She was right. I had lived two lives. Is it permanent? She asked after a moment. Do you want to live as her? I looked down at the floor. I don't know, I said honestly. But when I wore that skirt, when I looked in the mirror, I saw someone who felt alive. Like I wasn't hiding anymore.
Leah was quiet for a long time.
Then she said something I didn't expect. I think you should stay at your friend Tyler's place for a few days. I looked up sharply. What? I need space.
Time to think.
And you need to figure out who you really are and whether you want me to be part of that. The words hit like a slap. I wanted to beg.
To plead. But something inside me said not to.
Not this time. Instead, I nodded. Okay. I packed a small bag, no skirts, no makeup, just essentials. As I walked past her in the hallway, she caught my arm. One more thing, she said, holding up the beige skirt. You forgot this. I froze.
She handed it to me.
No anger. No sarcasm. Just a look. A deep, questioning look. As if she wasn't sure if she was saying goodbye to her boyfriend or watching someone entirely new walk out of her life. Tyler's apartment was quiet. Too quiet. I dropped the bag near the couch and sat, still holding the skirt Leah gave me. I stared at it, ran my fingers along the hem. What was this piece of fabric? A symbol of freedom? A cause for heartbreak? Or something more dangerous? My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. We know what you've been doing. And you're not the only one. If you want to keep your secret safe, come to the address below. Come dressed properly. My blood turned to ice. The message ended with a location, an old industrial warehouse on the edge of town. Was this blackmail? A setup? A joke? Or was someone out there like me? My fingers hovered over the reply button. I didn't answer. Instead, I looked down at the skirt in my lap. It had started as a thrill. Then it became a secret. Now, it might be the key to something far bigger than I ever imagined. And this time, there was no turning back. It was just one skirt, but my first skirt was a trap I walked into willingly. Now, the real question isn't what I was hiding. It's who else already knew.